I'm extremely livid right now. Today, we got a very long-winded email that didn't even make sense. It didn't even reach any sort of conclusion to regarding anything about the delegate process. I mean, we haven't even heard anything about the delegate process until today, and I got some long-winded email that basically said, oh, we had to reduce our number of delegates, and it was very difficult, blah, blah, blah. COVID-19 is making us do this. And I just want to say that's bullshit. Number one, there was a phone call, and I'm going to have Melissa Michelson talk a little bit about this. There was a phone call by the director of California, Rafael Navar, who literally said anybody who is disruptive to the campaign and who doesn't follow the lead and fall in line is not going to be chosen as a delegate. So of course, lo and behold, the people that are doing all the work, the canvassers, some of the field organizers that really stood their ground against the corrupt establishment wing of the campaign, what we know now is the Jeff Weber hires, the Chuck Rocha hires, all those people. If you stood up to them, if you so much as said anything that was public, if you were publicly calling them out, if you were publicly in any way, shape, or form standing up for yourself, you weren't going to be chosen to be a delegate. Melissa Michelson, Ben Hawk, Keith Anthony Sikora, a lot of hardcore activists and burners were rejected. And in place, you have vote blue no matter whoers. You have people that nobody knows. You have people like Lily Starlink, who is part of the sellout caucus, by the way, who has literally been trashing Bernie for the last 4 years, chosen as a delegate for Bernie Sanders. Now, I want to say something about that. What's left of the Sanders campaign is just a skin. It is ashes. It is scum, what's left of it, because Bernie's not in charge anymore. I mean, I don't know what's left of it, but whatever's left of it is completely corrupt. What's left of the Bernie Sanders campaign is a disservice to progressivism. It is a disservice to the hardcore burners who have been fighting for the last 5 years, the burners who did all the work, the burners who put their life on hold for them. And we really shouldn't stand by it. I mean, I think this means a clear break with actual people who are anti-establishment, who are going to fight, who are not just going to succumb and vote blue no matter who. This is a hardcore break. And I think all of you who are upset should say something. Because, frankly, I was just talking to Melissa. I know she's pissed. I know a lot of people are pissed. This isn't about egos of, oh, I didn't get chosen or whatnot. This is about who they chose instead. They have chosen people who have never once phone banked for Bernie, canvassed for Bernie. People here don't know who they are. Majorly, not everybody. We got some of our people who kept on the DL, who were chosen and who are great. But what the fuck does it matter if the majority of the people chosen are going to go and make concessions to Joe fucking Biden, Joe rapist Biden, Joe crime bill Biden? How are you going to call yourself a progressive campaign if you're literally in bed with the same forces you were set out to destroy? I mean, to me, that is entire capitulation. We need to make noise about this. And I really think we need to organize and call out the lack of democracy, because we were just pissed that New York took Bernie off the ballot, right? We were just all upset about that. And what did the Sanders campaign do just now? In 2016, you ran, right? You applied as a delegate and you ran in your congressional district. You ran and you were selected by the people. Now you're being selected by who knows who of the Jeff Weber caliber of the campaign. You're being selected by these establishment idiots, these establishment elites who have embedded themselves in our movement and who literally said, oh, if you're a disruptor, you cannot be a part of this campaign. We need disruptors. That is exactly what we need right now. We absolutely need those people. And by pushing them away, just like they pushed the grassroots in California away, just like they did this nationally, and while now creating their super PACs and making money off of it, just like they did that, by doing that, you are literally being another establishment arm of the plutonomy. That is what you're doing. And this is unacceptable. And all of you, even if you somehow managed to be one of the good ones that got picked, and I'm thankful for those people, you should say something. This is not something that we should go down in silence. The campaign's corruption, the Chuck Roaches of the world who are spending money with our money on 5-star hotels, the Jorels of the world who literally had allegations against them and who we were paid off to shut up. You're talking about Tara Reid? Look at your own fucking campaign. This is beyond disgusting, and they're doing Bernie a disservice. They are literally sinking Bernie Sanders' name. Absolutely 100%. They're sinking Bernie Sanders' name. And I've just been hearing all day of people who got pushed out, who were Bernie delegates in 2016, who were doing all this work, are pushed out. And in their places are people who have connections to, you guessed it, the establishment Democratic Party. I thought we were here to buck the system. I thought we were here to actually have a revolution. This is a capitulation. Where the hell are the damn balls of these people? Who are they? What is this campaign? This is not the time to literally bow down and just pretend this isn't happening. It is a time for you to speak out. It is a time for you to be angry. It is a time for everybody to say enough and leave the Democratic Party. And if that includes people within the Sanders campaign, which we know who the corrupt players are, it's not everybody. I have some people I very much love that are part of the campaign that were just as frustrated as all of us were with what happened. I am asking all of you to really, really think about this. You giving Joe Biden your vote, you giving the establishment your vote, you letting this go is saying that corruption is okay as long as it benefits us for a little bit. That corruption is okay as long as it comes from a Democrat or a progressive. That's not who you were supposed to be. We were supposed to be the hope. And we have lost it. We have lost it, and it's been entirely run by establishment, corporate oligarchs. People fucking put their lives on hold for Sanders, and they've been betrayed. And I am beyond angry, obviously. I am beyond forgiveness when it comes to this part of the Sanders campaign. I am entirely done. I want to use this anger to organize people together and continue exposing the people who have literally taken down Bernie Sanders, who literally took down his campaign. Literally from the inside. Without those people, we would have likely won. We won in spite of those people. We won because of the hard work of the grassroots activists here. That's why we won. We didn't win because of fucking Chuck Rocha making appearances on TV. We didn't win because of fucking union corrupt gangsters coming in and bullying people to do whatever they wanted and stay in their lane. So they're trying to twist the narrative and act like, oh, we're just disrupting the party because we just want to be disruptors. Because we don't know what we're doing. Do you know what they call the grassroots? They didn't want the grassroots to work with the campaign. They literally said, the grassroots are too jaded. We don't need them. You cannot associate with the grassroots, is what they told the field organizers. And I hope that more people come out and speak out about this, because I'm the only fucking person reporting it, and not enough people are speaking out of this because they want to keep their good relationships. You need to make these people uncomfortable. You need to make these people so uncomfortable that they can't live their lives anymore. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. And it goes beyond the Sanders campaign. This goes to the Joe Biden campaign. And if you are as a progressive, if you don't start with your own house and clean it, you're not going to get rid of anything. You're just going to be a fucking hypocrite that goes around. Some of these people that were chosen to be representatives of Sanders literally represent the establishment, have literally been working against him. And you want us to shut up about this? And you want to call us disruptors? Are you serious? I mean, frankly, I wasn't super surprised that this is the way it went down, but it's still shocking that the campaign that was supposed to be about the grassroots is literally pushing away the grassroots, literally ran them away and destroyed the chance that Sanders had to win. Destroyed. And I'm not going to stop talking about this, because what happens if we don't talk about this, if we don't continue to expose it, is it's going to happen again and again and again. And the wrong players are going to continue being involved in this. And so it is our duty, it is our job to do something about it and say something about it. I am done with the Democratic Party in general. There is nothing Joe Biden could do to get me to vote for him. Absolutely nothing. And I'm proud of that, because that's the power I have as a voter, is to really not give into the party that literally committed election fraud, 2 elections in a row, 2 presidential elections in a row, that literally is taking pictures with Obama, Biden, and Hillary Clinton, who literally caused the election of Donald Trump. Why do you think Donald Trump's in office? It is because of the neoliberal policies that have plagued the Democratic Party for years. So you want to go ahead and re-elect that? Just because you think Trump is some boogeyman? Trump is a symptom of the problem. He's not the problem itself. And until you get rid of the structure that led to his election, you're not going to change anything. You're not going to change a goddamn thing. And when I see people who literally knocked on doors for Bernie, who did so much work, literally be pushed out because they are a threat to the establishment, and that establishment now includes parts of the Sanders campaign, do you think I'm going to stay quiet? No, I'm going to make a fucking ruckus out of it, because that's what it's going to take. Call me a disruptor. We need disruptors led the civil rights movement. Disruptors led the women's movement. Disruptors are the reason Bernie Sanders had such a momentous campaign in 2016. These people are the treasures you should value, not dismiss. And that is what is happening right now. It wasn't sufficient to take over the Democratic Party and push progressives into a corner in backing them up. It wasn't sufficient for them to do that. They needed to go and grab from the revolution. They needed to go and grab Sanders supporters. They needed to go and turn them against each other. They needed to go and get the grassroots to fall in line. This is how movements die. This is how movements die. This is how Occupy Wall Street, how parts of the anti-war movement back in the day, all of these movements always end up falling because of capitulation, because people don't stand up, because they want positions of power. They want to be good. They want false peace, false unity. This is why we don't get far. Because we always do the same thing. Maybe next time I can vote my conscience. Maybe next time I'll say something and speak up. We don't have next time. We don't. If you think this is bad, wait till a few months from now when people lose their homes and the rich buy all of these homes. Wait till people end up in the streets. We already have 60,000 people homeless in California. Imagine what's going to happen when small businesses can't even open up and employ these people. Imagine, we are at a time where we don't have time for incrementalism. We don't have time to play nice with these oligarchs who don't give a shit if you live or die. There is no agreeing with them. There is no cooperation with the system that is screwing you and everybody you love over and over again. And what these players in the Sanders campaign have done is made it okay for us to accept that. And if I have to break with Sanders and a lot of people on this, I will, because there's nothing more hypocritical and more corrupt than giving into corruption just because somebody tells you that you owe them their vote, that you owe Joe Biden a vote. Because, oh, you don't care about the kids in cages? You're damn right I do. I've been caring since Obama put them in there. And guess what? They're going to use this against you. They're going to gaslight against you. And that is something I am no longer going to tolerate from anybody. I am no longer going to tolerate this. I don't care who you are. I don't care what position you have. I'm going to make you uncomfortable if you're working for the establishment. And if this campaign is that corrupt to push a lot of these people and prop them up as supposed representatives of progressivism when they're not, then they're going to hear from me and they're going to hear from others who are no longer going to stay silent, who are no longer going to fall in line. And that's it. I mean, Lord knows that we need fighters to fight for a platform, whatever that is. At this point, that doesn't matter because likely we won't have a convention because they're taking that away. They took Bernie off the ballot in New York. They took him off the ballot in Ohio. Did anything happen? No. Barely a peep out of the campaign, barely a peep out of anybody on that, except the people who were actually fighting and who cared. Barely a peep out of anything because, oh, well, it doesn't matter. As long as we just have to unite and defeat Trump and unite with the freaking corpse that is Joe Biden, unite with that guy who won't even respond to sexual assault allegations, very credible sexual assault allegations, who the Democratic Party is trying to avoid. Right? They're trying to silence people by saying, I stand with Vice President Joe Biden. So Tara Reade and her story and her Me Too moment don't fucking matter because he's a Democrat and we have to unite to defeat the other rapist because this rapist, I guess, is a little bit less rapey than the one that's in office right now. And with that kind of thinking, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see the Democratic Party fall. I cannot wait to see the Democratic Party burn. And that is it's going to take. It's going to take that. It's going to take you guys to understand that until we have fair and free elections, we're not going to get shit. And until we organize in a massive general strike movement outside of the Democratic Party, outside of the electorate, and build these movements, these mass movements that have always led to change before the electorate. The civil rights movement, the LGBTQ movement, the women's movement, it was all done through mass movement. It was not done through the electorate right away. Regain your power. Stop giving them your power. Stop it. It doesn't matter who you offend. It doesn't matter who tells you that you are a disruptor, that it's your fault. Embrace it. Embrace that it's your fault. I don't care because they're going to tell you it's your fault anyway. It's not your fault. They put Joe Biden, one of the worst candidates, if not the worst candidate we've ever had, in place. And they want people who will capitulate to that. And if the Sanders campaign, whatever's left of it, is going to do that, is going to only force people who are going to be tame and not speak out and not be against that, guess what? I don't want to be a part of that. I'm okay not being a part of that. I'm okay of building outside of that. Because that's what it's actually going to take. That is real progressivism. We have been entirely co-opted, and it's time to realize it before it gets worse. You guys need to know that this is how movements die. This is how. We let the establishment go, and they do whatever they want, and they bring people into the idea that this is progressivism, that this is okay. And it's not. And they turn people against each other. This is what they did the whole time they were here. So just so you guys know, Melissa was in a phone call where the California director, Rafael Navar, told people specifically that anybody that was not in line, that was too disruptive, that was too, basically the majority of the grassroots, wouldn't be chosen to be a delegate. And that's precisely what we needed, because if you guys recall in 2016, we had a lot of issues with people turning around and endorsing Hillary Clinton, right? That's what happened. We had people say that they were Bernie supporters and they turned around and made concessions to the establishment. Well, at this point, it doesn't matter, because what fucking leverage do we have when they pretty much have said, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you to everybody? And when they pretty much have said that we're going to do everything we can to beat Joe Biden. We're not even going to fight anymore. So I guess if you look at it that way, they chose the majority of the right people. And so if anybody knows me, I've been pretty disruptive. And And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of being a disruptor. I'm not going to be a follower. I'm not going to be somebody that stays quiet in any way, shape, or form. So that's that. That's not going to change. But I think a lot of people who weren't even as disruptive as I was were actually pushed aside because, you know, they are a threat to the status quo. And this campaign has unfortunately become the status quo. And so it's no longer about getting progressive platforms or getting any of that at this point. That's not even what I'm here for anymore. Because guess what, guys? We're not going to get shit. Do you think Joe Biden's going to give you shit? Why? You're going to vote for them anyway, right? If they think you're going to vote for them anyway, why? Bernie Sanders let all his leverage go when he dropped out. And that's it. And when he called Joe Biden his friend, when he said Joe Biden can beat Donald Trump, which is a lie, he can't. He lost his leverage. And to gain it would require taking the gloves off and saying, you know what, we're not going to do anything for you until you give us Medicare for all, until you give us a Green New Deal, until you reform our elections. That's what was needed. Join a general strike movement, lead the movement. Guess what, guys? We have to be the leaders. We have to be the leaders. You need to stop looking at politicians as saints. You need to stop being a fan of politicians because they're flawed human beings just like the rest of us. And they are working within the system. Bernie wants to work within the system. I will always love Bernie and appreciate him for everything he did. But it's not the time to work within the system. It is the time to disrupt it. It is the time to crush the Democratic Party. That party is dead. It is done. They're parading the possibility of putting Hillary Clinton as a VP. Are you kidding me? Please, by all means, do it. You'll see how badly you lose to Donald Trump. And this is how you push people to the right, by the way. I can't tell you how many people I know that are so angry that they're going to go vote for Donald Trump. I could never do that. But I can't say I blame people any longer for feeling like that. And so that is how you create this. How do you push fascism, right? And the Democrats themselves are committing fascism by removing people off the ballot, by not letting people's votes count, by pushing primaries when it's convenient to push them to get Biden through, or by pretty much getting rid of primaries when it's convenient to also help Biden. And by changing the rules to whatever happens. This is why Dementor doesn't work. Because guess what? The party can go and change the rules to whatever the hell they want just because they feel like it, because they hold the power. This is why it doesn't work. This is why it does not work. They have all the cards. You have nothing but your vote and your ability to disrupt. So you have to use what you have, period. So I just wanted to come on here and say that. And I wanted you guys to go look at who got chosen as a delegate. I will put the link below this video. It's out for California. I'm sure it'll be out for the rest of the states as well. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be disappointed. But at this point, if there is a convention, I am there to burn down the party. I am not there to get breadcrumbs, because all that we've been given are breadcrumbs. And breadcrumbs don't pay your rent. Breadcrumbs don't do shit for people for an entire generation that has been screwed over and over again. If you accept the breadcrumbs, you are an abused person that's letting somebody abuse you over and over again and expecting them to stop without standing up for yourself. Stand up for yourself, regain your power, and realize this movement will fall if you don't.